So I kind of thought there would be 3 of me, because it's a third part. But I guess 2 is all we got. Hey, y'all.
Yes, hello, we are back for part 3 of our 100 Days in Coral Island series. And yes, I did re-record my intro because my original file got corrupted. Yay! But yeah, I split the 100 days up into 3 different videos because I really wanted to focus on the game or whatever. So this video is going to contain fall and winter. If you want to see summer or spring, you can check out this video. Wrong corner. This video. You also don't have to go watch those. I literally cannot make you. So if you want to keep watching this, be my guest. Let's get into it with Day 1 of fall, and day 57 of the year started with a little meet cute. Who is this cartoon villain character? Bobby came to visit.
That chin is double cheeked up on a Thursday, my god.
He came by to scope out my little farm.
Oh, not the barf face.
Apparently I was his competition, but I didn't really know what he was talking about.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Apparently there's a harvest festival in fall, and he's from the nearby town of Beluga Bay. And Starlit Town and Beluga Bay apparently always face off, so he's going to be my competition there. And the game wanted to make sure I really wanted to beat him.
Daddy always said, oh my god, get him out of here.
So with that prologue out of the way, we had a farm to work on. Somehow I still had healthy hot peppers, something that I did not plan for in my fall farm vision, but we're going to deal with those later. In the meantime, I cleaned up my farm to prep for my little makeover, and then we went to check out some new fall outfits and new fall crops. I bought so many crops. Then I ran to the B-Boys to get my watering can from a fall-themed Pablo, and you just know that Pablo Live Laugh loves fall. Back home on my farm, I started working on my new farm layout. I wanted to make myself a little machine alley in the top section, so I moved my growing area further away from my house. Unfortunately, I started my plots way too far up.
Oh my god,
So I moved them down a square and kept going into the evening. I placed down my sprinklers, I planted my crops, fertilized those crops, put down some pathing, planted my mixed seeds from last season, and finally set up my scarecrows. With that, I was finished, for the most part, with my crop area, ready for me to work on Machine Alley on day 2. Quick side note there, I love that I have barely any work to do on my crops this season because I just have so many sprinklers. Love to automate myself out of manual labor. Also, quick animal check-in. Mommy Milker, Nuggies, the duck. I'm sorry, I don't remember what my duck's name is. And Bah are still here and doing great, so we are so good. Anyways, I started work today on Machine Alley. I didn't really have much of a vision for this area, and it showed. I tried a couple of different setups and tried some different pathing ideas, which I didn't love, and ultimately was dissatisfied with basically all of them. So I went on a quick walk to clear my mind and ran into a cutscene.
is this a Raj cut? I love Raj.
Raj started chatting to me about how their business is doing before deciding to take things to the next level.
Looks around, secret. Are they gonna come around? They're gonna give me a little smooch?
By divulging a little secret that they are struggling to get by. Oh no. Mayor Connor invited them to join the Chamber of Commerce though, so with my encouragement, they decided to take their business more seriously and join to get advice?
Yeah, sure. I don't think that's what a Chamber of Commerce is for, but that's...
So Raj found a new motivation for their business, and I think I found a new crush? Ooh.
But also Raj's blushing face, they're so cute.
But right, my farm. I headed back home and I continued working on Machine Alley. I was futzing around until I landed on a layout that I liked a lot.
Okay, I kind of hate this, honestly.
And we are just gonna leave it there. That's it, okay? No more tinkering. On day 3, after spending 2 days on my farm, I was ready to get out and about and see some of those pretty faces around town. After taking care of my crops and animals, I ran around foraging some new ubbles and catching some new bugs. Also, Thomas came outside because I just downloaded the new patch that added that. Yay! If you remember from last season, I had a quest to get the giants some clothes so they could make themselves a human costume. So I went to the clothing store to acquire those. However, I couldn't find the Royal Grape Blazer, and after looking it up, it turns out you can only get that once you reach town rank D, and I was on E, so I guess I gotta do that. In the meantime, I bought myself a new outfit for fall so I could be all fall-y, and I basically spent the rest of my day catching bugs, foraging, checking out the goddess bundles to remind myself what I need, and donating some new seasonal critters. After that, I hopped on the hottest public transit, the Bed Line. Next stop, tomorrow. Choo-choo.
Oh, brother, this guy
Day 4 started off with 2 quests in the mail. First was from Valentina, who requested a sunflower sometime before the 26th of fall, which is baffling because sunflowers are a summer crop. You have to plan better next time, my child. Also, I got a request from Jim for an arapaima, which seems innocuous enough, but will become a major plot point. I tended to my farm, getting a 3rd piece of wool from Baes for the giant quest, and remembering that, oops, I need to water the tree things, so got on that. I participated in some forage wars around the island and found myself a black trumpet mushroom, which is needed for the goddess bundle. Then I tackled the most important task of the day, giving Raphael a birthday gift. He got the hottest new thing, a coconut. Birthday boy gifted, I removed myself from town affairs to go underwater. Now you see, the ocean was very important at this point, because basically every super coral that I activated gave me 10 points towards raising the town rank. So I zenned out and activated 2 super corals, and also caught some new ocean critters. And then I was yoinked by Kibble. Fucking Kibble. After donating my finds to the museum and dehydrating some clams or whatever, it was time to go to Day 5, where Mayor Kana reminded me via mail that I've got a Harvest Fest to win. Harvest Fest. He explained to me how the festival was going to work. I'll be judged on 6 categories, so I needed to bring a high quality item from each to pummel body with. So why not start today by saving some gold quality dried oysters for my artisan good and bronze fruit? Love it. I went to get my coffers coughed and ran into a cutscene with Rav. We got a Raj cutscene. We got a Raph cutscene. We love an R.A. blank, you know? He was all excited because the mysterious explorer supposedly just left and brought with him the Tavandium. But apparently it was mixed with other metals, which was weird because Tavandium is supposed to be pure always. I mean, everyone knows that. But Raphael was just gonna make do with his Tavandium. That's definitely Tavandium and nothing else. After that, I was pretty unfocused, honestly. I basically just went around foraging and catching bugs, and then I donated some new stuff to the museum, and yeah. I at least spoke to some of the townsfolk, some of whom made some great points about the Harvest Festival. Honestly, Leah, same. I also really do not care about this rivalry. And then I was like feeling guilty for not like really doing anything with my day, so I headed to the mines and got 2 whole floors before I had to return home. Woo! But luckily I got some gold bars of smelting so I could upgrade my pickaxe on day 6. After, of course, I do my farm dailies. I took a quick detour on the way to the B-Boys to find Surya because I haven't seen him yet this season. His outfit was fine. I gave him a flower either way. At the B-Boys, I quickly ran into a conundrum because I didn't just need gold bars to get a new pickaxe, I needed hardwood too. But to get hardwood, I'd need a gold axe. So I guess I should upgrade that first, but like, where am I supposed to get hardwood? Well, remember that weird log quest from Paul last season? That gave me 8 pieces of hardwood, aka enough. I grabbed that, but then was stopped by old reliable not having enough money. Boo. I thought this was supposed to be a game. This is just like my real life. Whatever, I'll just make money, I guess. Might as well go check my crop to see if anything is ready to be harvested, and boop. Got some basil, got some cranberries, sold that shit, bought more basil seeds. The circle of life, truly. Unfortunately, did not get enough to actually upgrade my axe, so fuck it, let's go underwater. In the ocean, I got distracted, what do you know, and followed those inky black tendrils until I reached a bridge that I couldn't cross, which I believe leads to the Merfolk Kingdom. I activated a super coral in that area, but then was like, oh shit, I have to finish that last area. So I went back to the amphitheater looking place and worked on that and was promptly yoinked. So did my night stuff, headed to bed, on to day 7, where I tended my crops, harvested some little beady boys, and tended to my animals. After that, I headed to Ling's to process some bone rocks, but instead I got to process a cutscene. Ling was having troubles with her printer when Bree came in. Ling explained that the printer she apparently got from donations. Like, all of this? Luckily, Bree had a proposal. You see, the vineyard was doing well. So well, in fact, that they wanted to expand. And so they wanted to buy Ling's house? Bree was like, oh, you know, it will help us and it'll help you with your money troubles. But like, what an insane thing to just propose to someone. Hey, let's buy your house. I mean, Ling obviously said no, but like, oh my God, Bree, I can't help but like stan. She's off her rocker. Honestly, get Bree in the Trader's Castle tomorrow, okay? Anyways, after that scene, fossils, right? Okay. So I got a couple new bones and then I went and donated them. And listen, I'm going to level with you. I lost the footage for the next part. So just imagine with your mind, if you will, that I went diving again because, we want that town rank up. And then I activated some super coral, so much, in fact, that I cleared the way for the bridge to the Merfolk Kingdom. But then I ran out of time to actually go there. So I got yoinked. And then I discovered that I only had 78 more points to go until I ranked up the entire town. Okay, thank you for going with me on that journey. You can put your brains away because I've got footage for day 8. Great day. I was pretty single-minded today about getting underwater, but the dailies must get done. So I went around town, busting open coffers, getting some bone rocks lasered, and finally gave my axe to get upgraded to gold. After that, time to go under the sea. I crossed the bridge and then solved a very easy puzzle to open the gates, which, if you want to make it a lock, maybe don't emblazon the key code on the door. And here we go. I'm in the Merfolk Kingdom. Who could have guessed that? That's so wild. It was a pretty empty town. I'm not gonna lie. What are y'all being protective of? There's just some buildings here. There's no people. I swam around a bit and then I found a cutscene. I met Simaru, who's very pretty. I get it. He's hot. He has a jawline and abs or whatever. I also met Dino, who is Gorgina, but doesn't have much of a character right now. But no matter how pretty they were stopping me from entering the kingdom, so they are my enemy. I told Simaru to lower his spear, but no use. And then Denali swam up to us and was like, hey, guys, be chill, gosh. She somehow knew that I could speak their language, even though I'm pretty sure she hasn't heard me speak up to this point. But no matter, she used that to convince the guards to let me speak to the king and queen. I went inside the palace and met King Krakatoa, who... Ooh. The king and queen are not really on the trust train with me yet, but the advisor Cho Oyu was trying to reason with them to let me stay and help heal their coral tree with the use of their super corals. But it was no use. I mean, they were steadfast against it, so all seemed lost until the princess intervened and convinced them to let me go into the deep ocean and also just hang out a little bit. With this, Agung, who suddenly is very friendly towards me, and Denali brought me to the soldier barracks and set me up with a sweet studio under the sea, which even came with a mailbox. I was requested by Cho Oyu, so I went over there and she was like, ooh, I'm Ursula, but nice. And also, you get access to those cave things you can fast travel to now. Finally, thank you. So I hightailed over to one of those and entered and was very confused. I guess I just clear trash until I unlock the door and then I go through there to basically the same room. And then I just keep doing that. What is the point of this cave? I don't understand. I didn't really have enough time to explore this though because it was getting late. It was already midnight. Wait, midnight? Kibble? What? No, yoink? Me? I guess because I now have a bed underwater, I'm allowed to stay out past 11. And listen, I don't get it, but I'm not complaining, okay? So I headed home and slept until day 9. Famously the day where one harvests orchids and also amaranth. Orchids are a very special flower to me because they need to be offered to the goddess for the fall bundle. So I went and did that and then went around chatting with some townsfolk, including Raj, who...
Oh my god, they winked at me. Raj is very quickly climbing up there in my list,
After that, I fast traveled right underwater and... Y'all, I'm sorry, but the jank is off the charts in the Merfolk Kingdom. Merfolk Guard male is busy. Merfolk Guard female is busy. They didn't even give them names.
Oh no. Pal, I'd keep a close eye on him if I were you. There's a sneaky little fishy lurking around here. Maud. Am I having a stroke?
It was honestly not pretty at all. Why did this get shipped as 1.0, guys? I went to leave the Merfolk Kingdom and instead got a cutscene with the princess and her awful hair animation. Oh my god.
Hair. You gotta fix the hair, guys.
She came to see me off and brought her lion, dragon, dog thing to give me my very first stamina fruit. This increased my stamina by 45 points permanently, perfect for journeying into the 40-meter zone of the ocean. There I encountered new stuff like gold kelp, a sexy shrimp, ooh la la, and a green sea urchin. And those last two I actually needed to be offered to the goddess, so let's go. It seems for now the jank is over.
What the fuck is going on here? Oh my god, I think I just saw a mermaid pleasuring itself. Oh my god.
Okay, well, I spoke too soon. Listen, I just needed to get out of there, so I activated a super coral and dipped. Luckily, day 10 was a big ol' harvest day. We got some rice, we got some cranberries, some eggplants, some sweet taters that are for some reason a recurring crop. I don't think that's how sweet potatoes work, but okay. In Harfest prep land, I got a silver quality dragon fruit and a bronze large egg. I also got a large duck egg and a large wool, so I put the duck egg into the mail machine and then offered the wool, but stupid me, the large duck egg was also needed for the bundles. We're fine. To cheer me up, I visited the B-Boys and picked up my gold axe. I used that to chop some felled trees on my property and got even more hardwood for more upgrades once I have the money. After that, I did that thing I do where I lose focus, so I just kind of ran around getting some forageables, catching some bugs, vibing, looking cute, and I even chopped some trees. I mean, damn, so productive. Day 11 was marginally more focused. I got enough money overnight to upgrade my pickaxe, so I gave that to the B-Boys and then went and tracked down Theo because it was his birthday. He was down at the beach, so I ran over there and cutscene! A game cutscene. Oh my god. My first one ever, I think. I'm pretty sure. Aim was at the volleyball field, sand, whatever, I don't know. Excited because her team made the playoffs and they might go to the finals. Exciting! Nervous. To calm her nerves, she asked me to help her practice.
I'm not good, but sure.
We hit around the old ball of volley until her team came around.
Who are all these people?
Her entire team of Dommy mommies? Excuse me? I mean, Haim isn't the only one nervous now. Oof, I panic sim. You love to see it. I accomplished my goal of giving Theo his birthday present, and it was satisfactory. After that, it was off to diving land, where I activated 2 whole super corals with some encouragement from Kibble.
360 no scope, excuse me?
I went to a new area and caught a new critter, a cauliflower jellyfish, before surfacing and donating my finds. The super corals and new museum donations brought the town rank all the way to
679. Only 21 to go. Let's go.
I was so close. So y'all already know what I'm going to be doing on day 12. I did my little farm stuff in the morning, putting aside some Ozymandias quality kombu chips for the Harfest, along with the normal quality large milk because, like, I don't know, I need something from Barnland. I went into town to process some fossils and found out
Not bone loot.
they took bone TBD from us. I mean, like, honestly, it never should have been shipped with bone TBD, but then I kind of grew attached to it because it was kind of a funny quirk. So kind of sad. After that, I ran down to the ocean to activate the super coral I needed to rank up. I made some steady progress moving through trash as fast as my little silver scythe could. It got me through 1 super coral, but progress was slow on coral number 2. So I took a chance and made a Vortexinator 2. Now listen, the first level of Vortexinator I thought was pretty dumb. It was very slow, so I was very skeptical of the level 2, but it was actually really helpful. Like, it was a little slow to actually do its thing, but it very effectively mowed through trash for me, so let's go. Also, on a positive note, I caught a new jellyfish.
A threatener flashes blue light that attracts predators to chase off its attacker.
A narc jellyfish. I went and donated my jellyfish and was pretty sure that I ranked up, but I didn't really want to spoil it, so I ran off to bed and then I did it!
Let's go.
Town rank D! More like town rank D's nuts. I unlocked new seeds, new furniture, new clothes, quail, goats. I'm so excited. And not to mention you get hearts with people, so I leveled up a bunch of friendships too. Let's go. Honestly, this is the second most excited I've been to get the D. I'm sorry, it was right there. I mean, how do you expect me to have that kind of self-control? I have ADHD. ADHD's nuts. All right, I'll stop. Day 13, a proverbial new day in the workroom, and I was feeling sweet, petite, and ready to eat. For reference, I am 6'3", so I'm none of those things. Because I became friends with everyone overnight, my bell box was stuffed with recipes from just about everyone. For fried tempura, roasted chestnuts, and
Spider tempura?
So with all the excitement in the air, I rushed through my dailies and then headed to the ranch to check out the new...
The ranch is closed today.
Right. Well, I headed to Sam to check out new seeds, and oh my god, there were so many. They were all so shiny and new and exciting. I bought as many as I could, and I don't have any money left. Okay, so let's move on. I went up to ye old B-Boys for my coffers and got a cutscene where Raphael steeled his attitude and determination and recommitted to pushing through with his tainted Tivandium and making the Iron Eye hammer. He said next time I saw him, he'll have made something magical. I probably won't, because I think you got scammed, but you know, I love this attitude. After that, I headed to the clothing and furniture stores to check out their new wares. The new furniture was great, but a little on the pricey side.
12,000 for a gazebo.
So that'll be a year 3 project, probably. The clothing was also relatively cute, and I did find a new outfit that I wanted, as well as the royal grape blazer that I needed for the giant quest, but without a coral coin to my name, I would have to return. Back on my farm, I set to work expanding the growing area to accommodate all of my new crops. It honestly took me most of the day, but steadily my empire grows. And speaking of growth, on day 14, I had some pumpkins ready to harvest. It's fall, y'all! After doing my dailies, I went to the ranch to look into getting some goats or quails, but they're very expensive. And not to mention that, but I do need to upgrade my barn and coop to even get them. But that's also expensive. So I guess I have some things to start working towards. On my way to check on the animal house upgrades, however, I got sidetracked with a cutscene with Archie. He was polishing rocks. That's it. Right after that was another cutscene with Archie and Dinda, famously his mother. Archie was acting all weird again and asking to stay informed about current events. What's that about? But then he revealed that actually he had just found chirp chirp. It's a bird! Oh my god, he found a little bird and he's gonna make it a nest. That's so cute. I like this storyline. I like where this is going. Anyways, with my new goals in mind, I had to get some money, so I headed off to the ocean to catch some critters. Unfortunately, my stamina was like super low, so I only was able to activate one super coral, and then I had to turn in early. But as I returned to the surface, I ran into a cutscene. Got a little beach scene with Alice sitting pensively on the edge of the dock. She wanted me to chat or something. Make out. But she hates small talk, so she just wants to get super personal real fast and talk about past lives. All right, well, here we are. I told her I think I was a fish in a past life. She's laughing. She's laughing at me. Don't laugh at me. You asked the question. So I guess that's the last time I open up to Alice, huh? Then I headed to Fish and Sips and saw an open mic night cutscene. Cute. Everyone was there to perform, and we had Millie with some poetry that was a little on the nose. Sam was there dancing. Oh my god! He's got the splits. Shantae, you stay, Sam. Then serenading us on sax, we had... Yeah, the music is muted. And finally, we had Ben doing miming. Cute. All in all, a super cute scene. Listen. After all of the hullabaloo, I sat down with Surya for my third cutscene. Surya scene? Surya scene? We chatted because... You were there when I told my aunt and uncle I was going to move out. Yeah, sorry about that. I felt like I was intruding, but then I was there and I didn't know how to leave. Basically, he just repeated what he said before. He's an adult, he feels stifled, yada yada, we get it. I was sympathetic for him up until a point. No rent, no food money, they wouldn't let me pay for anything. Yeah, no, that sucks. Wow, that's... But he resolved to show them the apartment, and maybe that would change their mind. Who knows? All seemed out for the night, though. I just hung around the tavern and chit-chat with some locals, and then learned of Funlop from the mayor. Who the fuck? This will definitely help me on day 15, because today is the Harvest Festival. Let's go. But that is not until later, so in the meantime, there is farm stuff to do. I checked out my Harfest prep stuff, but realized 2 things. 1, I don't have a flower, because I forgot that was a category. And 2, Pumpkin? Fruit? Because there was really no way for me to get a flower day of, I tried to go foraging for one, hoping that maybe it would count somehow. But instead of finding a flower, I found Mark throwing axes. I like the way you throw that axe. You want to throw an axe at me in like a murder way? What, 2? Right after this, I ran into a cutscene. Part 2 of everyone's favorite domestic drama, Walter and Bree fighting for 3 entire seasons about the same exact fucking party. Oh, let me just walk into your domestic drama. Hello? Basically, Bree didn't want to go to this party or whatever because she didn't want to get all dressed up. up?
Bree, the real housewife of Coral Island, not being in the mood for a fancy dinner and dressing up. What?
So I suggested that she just see her friends outside of the gala. Great, I'm sure that works for all of us, right, Walter? Looking for a break from cutscenes, I went to the laboratory to check out the R&D upgrades that I had unlocked with the town rank up. There was a bunch of ranching equipment, like an auto petter, feeder, and collector, and a sturdy computer that has online shopping, but holy shit, this stuff is expensive. You thought buying a goat was pricey? Huh, think again, okay? I headed to the B-Boys next to pick up my pickaxe and ran into another friggin' cutscene, and this one was painful. So listen, essentially the plot is that Pablo invites me to the tavern with him and Raphael to play pool, and everyone's there, and he starts hanging out with all of them, but not his brother because he's Mr. Popular. But within that, there are so many strange things in this scene.
Hey, nice to see you, bro. Bro? They're not brothers, are they? Or are they just, oh, they mean like friend. Yes, I've heard of this.
For one, the group hanging out is like Yuri, Aaliyah, Scott, Luke, fine, but then Joko and Jim, okay? Pablo flirts with Yuri, eliciting this weird synchronized belly laugh, and then Scott puts a pool stick in his pocket and tells Pablo to relive Pablo Reyes, which like, what? And then Pablo is like, yo, not in front of my brother, yo, which is like not how Pablo or anyone in town has spoken before this scene. And then Aaliyah is like, around a Frank's special drink, and it's apparently fucking beers? Yeah, Pablo, you're pretty, but
Listen, I'm glad everyone's friends, but I just took 10 points of damage from that whole scene. My God.
anyways, with that finally done, I picked up my pickaxe. After that, though, it was about that time, chaps. So I headed home, gathered my Harfest materials, and started the Harvest Festival. Of course, it was a gorgeous festival, lots to do and lots of special decorations. You'll love to see it. There were 2 mini games at this one, a market stall and the main event where I would destroy Bobby. I warmed up my destruction muscles with a good old round of pumpkin smashing. It was extremely difficult for me because the control just felt off. Also, there were these evil rotted pumpkins that lost you points, but they were dark, and the ground was dark, and they'd pop up as you moved, so I kept running into them. I couldn't win that one, because friggin' Archie was just like overpowered at it, I don't know, so I just threw in the towel. Next up was apple bobbing, which seemed broken in some way, because I could just stand in the same spot and eat the same apple over and over, so like, fun, but like, I don't know, it seems too easy to me, but who cares? I won, so I got myself an apple sapling. Let's go. Over at the market, I bought myself a cocoa and pear seedling because they were gonna last into winter. And then it was time for the main event. I strode up to that farm stand and laid out all of my farm goods that I had spent days gathering. I was feeling pretty confident, honestly, because stupid Bobby had stuff that only fulfilled 2 of the categories, and I had 5 out of 6. So I think I have this in the bag. I spoke to Jeff Smith, who began the competition, and he like said some stuff about farming and stories and
Yeah, just tell us who won, okay?
and then he introduced the 2 competitors. I had all of the town on my side, and Bobby only had like 3 people here because he's a dork and a loser and he sucks, okay? And then Jeff revealed the scores.
The fuck? Rigor Mortis, girl.
God, I just wanted to beat Bobby. Ugh, but whatever. I guess I'll have next year. To make myself feel better, I went and finished the Fall Goddess bundle, and then I went the fuck to sleep, okay? The next morning, despite being a little bitter about the previous day's event, I soldiered on. I harvested crops and then figured out where to put my new seedlings, creating a little offshoot area next to my crops. However, I did decide against putting down my apple tree because I didn't really have a good idea where to put my orchard yet. After that, did my normal animal stuff and then made a shocking discovery about the apple pie I won yesterday.
Offered.
So I went and offered it to the goddess and then headed into town to give Luke his birthday present. He was, as usual, at Socket and Pan, so I ran in there and ran into a cutscene with Mayor Lewis buying a blender. Apparently he's buying a bunch of blenders. Okay, something my character clearly cared a lot about.
Pinball machine.
It was a weird little scene, but whatever, at least I got to talk to Lily, I guess. But then there was another cutscene, double cutscene. This one was with Luke himself, where we talked shit about his father coming to work for him. Though Luke's motivations and enthusiasm for his dad working here honestly eluded me.
Why are you excited? This seems awful.
I was supportive, but then the truth came out.
But now it looks like he's really trying to reconnect. And you know what? There's nothing I'd like more. Oh, okay, that's nice. That's fine.
So yeah, now I get it. Okay. I mean, honestly, Coral Island really should just be named Daddy Issue Island. After this, I went to the mines to get bronze ore to make another tap so that I could get resin and upgrade my watering can to gold. And then I also wanted to make a keg, so, you know, it's a bronze day. Unfortunately, though, I forgot my sword, so my only recourse to deal with the monsters was to run away, which went well.
Leave me alone!
After I got enough ore, I headed home and ran into a cutscene with Mark.
Oh, Mark scene? Mark scene?
He was trying to lure something to him.
Come here, cutie. I'm not going to hurt you.
They know what they're doing. The writers know. Oh, fuck off.
A thing.
That turned out to be a cute little puppy. How sweet. He wanted to bring the dog back to the pound, but the game would not give me a good dialogue option.
I don't want to do either of these.
No!
It's always Mark.
So I couldn't be as supportive as I wanted to be, but at least I got to admire a rare, smiling Mark. After that, I just went home, made copper bars, and found out that they fixed it, so now time does run while you're fishing. Thank God, honestly. On day 17, I had a flower harvest.
Great timing. Definitely didn't need this 2 days ago.
I also unlocked a new craftable object, a mushroom log, so I made that and put it down, and I guess that's it. I don't know. Using the copper ore and bars that I got yesterday, I made myself a tap for resin and a keg for making juices, and then I got those going. Then I decided to pull the trigger and buy the Royal Grape Blazer for the Giants, the final thing that I needed to acquire for them to do their little human thing. I collected the other items that I had saved in my chest and then went to Giant Town. They met me with excitement and took the items and transformed into
Handsome. And the two little eyes cut out. Oh, that's so cute.
I mean, stunning, no notes. We went out on the town and I introduced my my cousin, I guess, to the mayor. It went well, I guess. And then that was that. So I guess Handsome is just roaming the streets.
Do you know what your children are up to?
After that, I went back to the earth shaft to get even more copper ore so that I could build a bee house. Unfortunately, when I got back to my farm and actually made the bee house, I didn't have room for it in my machine space, so we're back to having uncontained machines, I guess. I spent the rest of the day scouring my farm because I got a letter from Yuri that morning that she apparently left her pen when she was here doing my intake form, I think like a month ago. I could not for the life of me find it, so I just gave up and turned in for the night. But then, not only did I gain 3 hearts with each of the giants and a heart with my sweet baby Surya, I finally unlocked
Cheese press. Cheese press.
The next day, the 18th one,
I did a large old harvest and wanted to put sweet potatoes in the mason jar, you know, for vodka, but they didn't let me, so I just made cranberry jam instead.
Then I tended to my animals. Last night, I had also gotten a ranching skill point to spend, so I chose the better quality upgrade to help me get that silver large milk for the goddess. And speaking of the goddess, I finally got my large duck egg. Then I was about to make my cheese press, but I needed
Another
I'm just buying it. Fuck it. I went and offered my duck egg to the goddess, then busted open some geodes at the B-Boys and bought my copper, not paying attention to the fact that it was 150 gold each.
That's a lot. Oh, stupid EJ. I spent $4,000 on gold ore.
Dejected, I went around giving everyone flowers and got some backstory on Raj, namely that their full name is Raja, something regal as fuck.
Blushing Raj. They're so cute. Is Raj winning me over?
Back on my farm, I made some copper bars and futzed around until they were ready to be made into my cheese press. Wow, exciting. I have a cheese press now. I ended my day by fishing down on the dock. Now that time passes when I fish, I'm honestly more inclined to do it because it doesn't just like needlessly extend my day, you know? On day 19, I woke up to another friggin' meteor impact. Honestly, what is going on overhead of Coral Island, y'all? In spite of the constant space barrage, I finally got my first juice from the keg and did my little harvest and rancher thing. Then I went to the goddess to offer her juice, completing the basic artisan bundle. Honestly, it's kind of all coming together with these bundles, and the town rank points are steadily increasing. Perhaps town rank C will be achieved before the end of the year at least, who knows? After juicing up the goddess, I headed into the ocean and journeyed further into the deep ocean. I was just moseying in the deep when suddenly,
Oh my gosh, it's purple. Do you guys see that?
I was able to activate 2 more super coral and advance on to a new area before calling it a day. Diving is just so peaceful now that I don't have to worry about being yoinked out at 11 p.m. every day. Not that Kibble doesn't keep bugging me about my stamina incessantly, but you know. Back home, I harvested my first honey that took 2 whole friggin' days to make, and sold that, then went to sleep, and
Oh, I didn't find the freaking meteor.
But that's gonna have to wait because oh my god! Oh my god! Something's happening! I don't know what, but it's exciting! On day 20, with the meteor remembered, I took care of my animals and crops and such, and then went and found ye old space rock, getting a good amount of silver ore, but not gold? Ugh, yikes. I'd made myself some gold essence from my deep sea adventures, so I took that up to the goddess for a good old offering, completing yet another bundle. Then I went to Sam's and got some seeds. With my errands out of the way, I explored the newly unlocked area next to Giant's Village. It was all woodsy and overgrown, and there was a new insect, a ghost mantis, but there was also a graveyard, so it was kind of sad.
Oh, well, it makes sense that a ghost mantis would be here if it's a graveyard, you know?
There was also a bridge that was blocked off that led somewhere mysterious with tents and stuff. Ooh, titillating. After exploring sufficiently, I took advantage of the rainy day to try and catch an arapaima for Jim. Though I caught my first salmon and my first goldfish and fished into the evening, I had no luck and returned arapaima-less. But we were back in the rhythm on day 21 with a good old harvest of some pumpkins, artichokes, and finally, bok choy. Exciting, but I will say, without enough sprinklers, it is starting to take me a bit too long to do my farm stuff in the morning. I had a request from Wataru for a pumpkin, so I brought that down to him and got another chance to see cute little Waku with his red hair. I went up to town and
it's getting spooky.
and then saw the fucking giants trying to do yoga with Leah. Over at the coffee stand, Waku, who is Raj's most consistent customer, I think, was reflective and pensive, thinking about his last conversation with his father, where his dad was being a real stick in the mud and saying how proud he was of other children, but not his own son. Not cool, Wataru. I gave him advice to tell his dad how he was feeling, which I'm sure is gonna go totally fine. Then, at the general store, I witnessed Emma and Dippa in queer domestic bliss trying to remember what kind of cookies they made last time that weren't good. It was a lovely little slice of life scene, and I loved them, and I want them to invite me over for a game night. That would be fun. I went to the deep woods to get more hardwood so I could upgrade my coop and barn, and then I went underwater. I looked literally everywhere for the solar orb before finally finding it. Luckily, the trail was pretty painless, and I gained access to another new area before heading home and heading to bed. Day 22 was a purple harvest day. Just ignore the cranberries. We got sweet potatoes, taro root, eggplant, and grapes. Let's go. We're about to be the purple people eaters, but instead of eating people, we're gonna eat purple and while being people. Yeah. After my harvest and animal tending, I went to Dinda and submitted materials for me to upgrade my barn. Very exciting. I just didn't have enough hardwood to upgrade the coop, so I went to the deep woods to get some, but I didn't get enough still. Though, I'm gonna be honest, the game probably wouldn't have even let me do that, so, I busted open coffers and fossils and then went to the mines and did mining stuff because I've barely done that this season. So this was actually my first time using the gold pickaxe in the wind shaft. And shoo, it made it so much easier because all the rocks were obliterated in basically one hit. I made pretty good time and got to floor 10 and tried to go further, but floor 11 kicked my ass, so I'll chill out and take what I got. Day 23 brought with it a harvest of blue dahlias and pumpkins and stuff, and of course, more animal interaction, but not with a goat. Yet. I headed into town to get some geodes opened and gave my scythe to be upgraded. Then I went around town and made a point to talk to some townsfolk more because I've been very focused on my tasks and not as focused on the people this season. I took an errand from Luke for a blue dahlia, which, I just harvested that morning, so I went to bring that to him at Socket and Pan and hit a cutscene. Walter was now working there and being super supportive.
I agree. The shop has been poorly managed from the outset.
Walter! People in glass houses, Walter, because you didn't even see that what she was looking for was literally right in front of you. Which then, of course, Walter blamed on Luke's signage.
I'm currently trying to explode Walter with my mind.
And then, when she left, he didn't even charge her. But not to worry.
Well, I'm sure she'll return it when she invariably discovered the item is defective. Kill him. Kill him. Luke, do it. Murder. Right now.
I really, really hate Walter.
I hope that this ends with a Mortal Kombat fight between Luke and Walter. We get to pull his spine out or something, because I swear to God.
After that scene, I headed to the clinic just to see Charles and instead saw a cutscene. In fact, 3 cutscenes. First, we had what I think is like a community slice of life scene with Charles and Yuri giving flu shots to the children. Notably, Ben was not there. After that, I saw a scene with Charles in an appointment with Sunny, and Sunny was nervous about getting blood work done, but don't worry, I'm just gonna walk right into this private doctor's office to give my 2 cents. Definitely not breaking HIPAA regulations, don't worry. Finally, I saw Yuri and Luke chatting about a pen, the pen that I was looking for. Yuri felt bad because she lost his pen.
Don't worry, he's rich. He'll be fine.
And then I came in and apparently I returned the pen to her, but he didn't even want it. And he was all blushy. And I was like, is Luke into Yuri? Well, apparently she had the pen because she was hanging out at his place before she saw me.
At 6 a.m. in the morning? What were you doing at Luke's place at 6 a.m. in the morning, Yuri?
So maybe it is canon because that's a little sus.
I don't even remember what I came in here for.
After that, I gave Naked Theo a gift and then headed to Ye Olde Mines.
I sailed through 5 floors with ease with my golden pickaxe, so I decided to risk it and keep going, and the next floors were fall-themed, appropriate for the season. And I also sailed through the next 5 with ease, making it to floor 20. Let's friggin' go! The gold pickaxe is powerful, and I was very lucky. On day 24, I was greeted by Charles on my doorstep asking for a fish for reasons.
What are you going to do to that fish, Charles?
And revealing that he is indeed in love with Millie, which is cute, but she's in love with Scott, and Scott is Charles' roommate, so this is a little dramatic. I did my normal harvesting thing and animal thing, and then I remembered that, oh my god, wait, the barn is upgraded. So I headed right to the ranch and adopted a goat, who I named Sylvia because I have a BFA in theater. With Sylvia safe at home, I went back into town and ran into a cutscene with Scott. He was still talking about the computer that he broke back in spring, but luckily, Millie hasn't used it yet.
It's 2 months?
So we headed up to the lake to find Lily and ask her to help him. Lily, naturally, asked for payment because, you know, this is her job, but then revealed that that was a joke, which it shouldn't be in my opinion, but whatever, Lily, you run your own business. Lily did indeed fix the computer, and then Millie caught us all together. Scott immediately came clean about what happened, but maybe too clean because he told her that he was snooping around on her computer looking for his annual report.
God, that is worse than breaking the computer, girl.
But Millie just laughed it off, so I guess all is well. With that all cleared up, I went to the town hall for reasons I quickly forgot and ran into another cutscene with Joko. Oh my god, so many cutscenes. The mayor called him to help with their HVAC, and when the mayor tried to pay him, Joko for some reason said no. I don't get what is with these people and refusing payment. Like, don't y'all have bills? We went to the recycling center and found the fuse box. Joko asked me to help out, and I was kind of excited because like this could be a fun minigame moment, right? But no, it was just like a fade out, fade in moment, and then the HVAC was fixed. Yay. But now I was free. So,
Oh my god. You try to do anything in this game and you just hit us. Okay.
Noah was in the library, a library devoid of books, I'll say, looking for information on the giggling fairy. He told me a story about some guy seen at night, which seems fake. But apparently Noah is actually really into this stuff, which, you know, interesting, but I got to see him blush, so obviously my heart is glowing. After that, I just kind of ran around and gave a bunch of people gifts because, you know, I just don't have enough cutscenes. I also went fishing, which I'm starting to slowly get the hang of. Day 25 was an important and significant day for me for many reasons. First, it was a good harvest day and a rainy day, so I didn't have to water anything. Second, it was the day I could pick up the scythe from Ye Olde B-Boys, which is always exciting. But third and most vital, it was Surya's birthday. I gave him a bouquet because I'm romantic and soft, you know. And after that, I was like, well, might as well put the scythe to the test, right? So I went underwater. Underwater, it cut marginally better, but like I really didn't notice a difference, if I'm being honest, which is kind of disappointing. But on the bright side, I caught a new seahorse. On the unbright side, though, I couldn't find the friggin' solar orb for this area, so I guess that's for another day. On my way home, I went to stop by Fish and Sips and ran into a Kenny cutscene. Now, I haven't had one of these all season, so this is very exciting. He was sitting outside in the rain because apparently that's what the scroll told him to do. Everyone's like, what the fuck's going on? But then the lightning was like, boom, pow, crash. So we went inside, and that was it, I guess. I don't know, the Kenny storyline kind of confuses me, but okay. Day 26 started off great with a little imp bitch stealing an eggplant from my shipment box, son of a. Luckily, it was another raining day, so I didn't have to do any more watering, just harvesting. While doing my animal stuff, I got my very first goat milk from Sylvia, yay, which I promptly went and offered to the goddess, and was reminded that I still need a silver quality large milk from Mommy Milker. I went to the B-Boys and got some coffers processed, getting some strange artifacts.
Shell anklet.
From what, the mer people? Then I gave gifts to cheer people up in this beautiful weather. I donated some things to the museum, unlocking a reward. That was a pretty pitiful reward, honestly. 5 gold ore and 5 gold kelp, really? That's all we can do? Then I went to the old river to try and get this goddamn Arapaima. I fished for hours in-game, but could not for the life of me find it. Okay, well, I actually do think I found it a couple of times, but my rod just couldn't pull it in. So I think I may need to look into upgrading my rod on our penultimate fall day, day 27. Which was a pretty uneventful day, if I'm being honest. I had a normal little harvest day and then went down to the beach to go to Sunny's and give him my fishing rod to get upgraded. I'm not totally sure how the upgrade is gonna take effect, but I'm excited. I went into town and into a cutscene with Scott, where he told me a little about the history of the island.
This island was colonized by a group of greedy people, the English probably.
He went on about artifacts, and honestly, watching him talk like this, as opposed to when he's kind of an aloof douchebag, really makes me actually like him. But honestly, I'll fall in love with anyone speaking passionately about something they love, so. I accepted an errand from the board to give Anne a taro root, which I had conveniently just harvested that morning. But she was busy playing volleyball with her family, and I couldn't get her attention. Excuse me. With the volleyball game showing no signs of ending, enough of the family fun time. I went underwater. I continued looking for that last solar orb that I just couldn't find, and then finally, on the legitimate last piece of garbage left, I found it.
Oh my god, finally.
This granted me access to a new area, so I went over there and found a solar orb, but by that point it was late, so I headed to bed. Ready to be spooked on day 28/day 84, aka the last day of fall, and Spooky Fest. The festival wasn't until pretty late in the day, so I spent most of the day doing my normal farm stuff. After taking care of all my crops and animals, I went to the ranch to check in on the animal prices and ran into a cutscene. Surya was showing his new apartment to Dinda and Joko, and I was just kind of watching. They were not impressed, even though water and electric were included, thank you. We transitioned back to the bedroom with me again just standing there, and things got much worse.
Tell me, does your room have any windows? Yeah, right there. Well, no, there's one decorative curtain. Oh.
Honestly, the apartment seemed a lot less appealing now that I knew it reeked of horses, but Joko and Dinda really laid it on thick.
Unless you're that desperate to move away from your
And then they just walked out, leaving Surya crying. Go over it. Go say something. Listen, I like Surya's storyline so far, but I'm very confused about my half inclusion in it. Am I supposed to be there to support him? And if so, why am I not doing anything in these scenes? And for the record, there are other cutscenes where my character isn't even present, but I can still see them, So it's just it's weird, right? Anyways, I got more hardwood from the deep woods and then gave materials to Dinda to get my coop upgraded. But since I couldn't go into town until the festival tonight, I just went underwater and finished that solar orb that I left unfinished yesterday. Completing that area granted me access to more new stuff, including a giant manta ray.
Hello? Oh, I just float through him. Okay.
My suspicion is that in a future update, I will be able to ride one of these or something. But speaking of things that will be better in a future update, it's Spooky Fest time. We got a little fancy lo-fi intro and saw Taco with a pumpkin on his head. And then we got into the event. This is an event that I have many mixed emotions about. The landscape, gorgeous, spooky, decorated. We love it, The characters, not in costume, but they kept acting like they were. And it was a choice.
Mom and Auntie dress up too, except they didn't, but whatever.
There were also lots of references to a haunted house in Ling's mansion, but when I went there, I couldn't get in there, even though Ling and Randy weren't outside at the event. So will I eventually be able to go in there? Now, to be clear, the devs have said that the Spooky Day NPC costumes will be included in the next update. But this is a main festival. Why isn't it finished? Anyways, I also saw this little imp bitch that stole my eggplant, but then Ava told me more about his tragic backstory, and apparently it's like a child ghost, and the crops remind him of his farmer family, so now I do feel slightly bad. Slightly. Anyways, my favorite part of all the festivals is always the old mini games, so let's talk about those. First up, we had Whack-A-Skull, which was cute, but felt a little repetitive after the pumpkin smashing at the Harvest Festival. The skulls each had different points of value, but they annoyingly would change color and thus point value while they were above ground. Regardless, I won and got a sus hammer as a reward, so we love that. Then I went to the ring toss, which was ridiculously difficult. The controls were finicky and not well explained at all, so I just had to figure it out. I just don't don't understand why Coral Island is so inconsistent with the tutorials. I eventually got kind of a hang of it and kept trying to beat friggin' Archie, who was always in first place in these things, but I failed, and the child won. Around all of this was a third event, a scavenger hunt for these little eye things. It was pretty fun, but the place where you went to get your reward was a little nondescript for my taste, and honestly, I missed it a few times. Finally, I watched the Ogo Ogo parade, which was a little cute cutscene. And that was it for the Spooky Fest, and also for fall. But we only have 16 days until we hit 100, so I mean, we might as well just keep going, right? Right. All right, time for winter time.
Day 1 of winter, day 85 of the year, started with an update on Miss Nina, who is moving here? Okay. Although now I'm like, where has she been? Was she not living in her house, but just here for the summer/fall? Who knows? Anyways, I came outside, and it's winter. There's snow all over, and all of my crops are dead. Yay. I cleared those up and then went and let my animals outside, but for some reason they didn't seem very happy to be outside, even though it was like below freezing. Weird. So maybe I'm supposed to keep them inside this season. I went the long way into town, picked up some new forageables like Brussels sprouts and tea berries, and then went to Sam's to check out new cutscenes. Emma came rushing into Ava's bakery asking for a cake, but Ava only had cookies. It turns out Emma usually sends her mom a cake for her birthday, but this year she forgot.
Not you forgetting your mom's birthday. Yikes.
She asked me what to do in this situation.
I'm all for coming clean, let the rain fall down.
And decided to just be honest with her mom. After that cakey conundrum, I went to see what new seeds Sam had for sale, but he had nothing. Honestly, I'm not really sure why I expected that he would, but I went to check out the goddess bundle for winter, and everything is forageable, except for snowdrops and tea leaves. I already had snowdrop seeds from a museum reward last season, but I looked it up, and in order to get tea leaves, I needed to reach town rank C. Kill me. New objective in mind, I made a quick detour to buy some heaters for the animals at the ranch, but before that, I saw a cutscene with Jack, who was bored as hell at work and needed some excitement. On cue, he heard a cow in distress and rushed outside to see Kenny struggling to corral a cow. And I'm like, no, is there more intergenerational conflict brewing? But not really, actually. Jack just calmly helped his son out, and then they had a conversation about what happened. And Kenny was like, I'm stressed because the ranch is understaffed, and Jack heard him and took his son's concerns into consideration and now is going to adjust things. Wow, what a concept. Yeah, anyways, I bought a temperature machine for my barn and coop and headed back to the farm to install them. Hopefully this would raise my animals' moods because I feel bad when virtual animals are mad at me. I also planted my snowdrop seeds and mixed seeds because who knows, maybe the mixed seeds are going to grow into tea leaves anyways. I went around foraging to see if I could get any more goddess bundle items. I found more than I bargained for though when Kenny was in the hot springs. Hubba hubba. It's pretty cool the villagers go in here now though. After that, I went and visited Nina's house to finally see what it looks like inside. And let me tell ya, Nina is rich, okay? Maybe I should be romancing her because I could definitely use some of that money around the farm. Come on, sugar mama, okay? But speaking of the farm, I spent the rest of the night basically chopping down trees for sap so I can make some more fertilizer and then called it a night. Day 2 was a snowy day in Starlet Town, and this luckily meant I didn't have to water my mystery crops. Yay! After taking care of my animals, I went around town foraging a little bit, looking for kale and rose hip, which I needed for the bundles. But instead, I found an eggplant. This is perfect because today is Raj's birthday, so I chased them down in town and gave them their present.
Here, take an eggplant. Don't think too much about it.
After that, I went and gave Surya an eggplant in the doctor's office, no less.
Not him blushing because I gave him my eggplant.
And then it was time to dive. I went underwater and activated one super coral that did a double loop-de-loop around this central core that was very annoying. And then activated a second super coral that freed your friend and mine, Yogi Shark. Gnarly looking scar, dude. He gave me a fossil node, and that was that for day 2. Day 3 of the winter season began promisingly because through a handy UI feature that I've never noticed until now, I found out that some of the crops I was growing from the mixed seeds were in fact tea leaves. But spoiler alert, tomorrow the feature is gonna quickly go away.
Wait, the UI thing isn't here anymore.
So weird, but I guess yay. You don't have to stress so much about town level C now. I Frankensteined some sprinklers to sprinkle my seedlings so I wouldn't have to worry about watering them this season, and then headed up to the ranch to get myself a quail, who I named Lil Bench, because she seemed like a sultry little bench, what can I say? I went into town and cracked open some coffers, got some fossils analyzed, and went to check in on pufferfish since we hit town rank D. There were even more vines that nameless corporate drones were observing, but the town rank seemed to also have affected Raina a bit.
Raina, it's snowing outside. What the fuck are... Okay.
Around town, I admired everyone's coats,
Oh, damn.
the little bear hat,
That seems coded.
which inspired me to update my fashion for the season.
Yeah, it's just Winnie Pooh in it. Let's go.
With my new hoodie and boots, I was ready for the elements, so I headed into the mines, but first into a cutscene with Ben. He was taking Fun Bucket, who was still sick after like a year of this, out for a walk with no care for if it made Fun Bucket more sick.
Get that duck a coat.
But Fun Bucket wasn't having it and wanted to go right.
Oh no, the duck fell! You want to move with a little bit more urgency, Ben?
It was honestly kind of upsetting and doesn't bode well for future scenes.
Are we gonna watch this duck fucking die?
Let's not worry about that. We got mines to mine. I made my way from floor 20 down with some ease, finding the hole pretty quickly. Rancid. When suddenly I found
Oh my god, now this is a new enemy.
a giant goo that spit out other goos. I mean, that's fun and new.
Now this is an enemy.
It was still pretty early when I reached floor 25, so I soldiered on into the next 5 floors that came with a new sandy aesthetic. Now, what does sand have to do with wind? I don't know. Maybe sandstorms? Who knows? But these floors were a little more slow going, so I eventually just bombed my way down to floor 30. Let's go! I headed home to sleep until day 4, which was an uneventful morning of tending to animals and looking at my crops that were already watered. I went down to the beach shack though, and on the way ran into some kale. I picked up my copper fishing rod from Sunny and quickly put it to use, trying to get an arapaima during the middle of the day, which I don't think is possible, but at least I caught an angelfish. Though if I'm being honest, I didn't really notice much of a difference in my rod from before I upgraded it. Weird. I went into town to open some coffers and fossils, and then went to the goddess and gave her my kale. Now I only needed rosehip to complete the bundle, and also snowdrops and tea leaves, but I know where they are, and rose hips are forageable, so like it's different, you know? After that, I tried my hand at fishing for an arapaima again, and even as the sun set and I caught a new chub, I had no luck and was mostly fishing up trash. So I said fuck it and went to see what was on the menu at Fish and Sips. The answer? Cutscenes. 4 of them. First, Dinda popped in and yelled very openly at Joko about staying late at the tavern.
Connor's watching.
She yelled at him some more, and then they left, and everyone went, oh, ho, 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 Joko's in the doghouse, ha, ha, wah, wah. Second, Noah and Betty
Noah looks so fine in his winter outfit.
were sitting down to watch a news report about the goddamn giggling fairy.
You want to see a giggling fairy? Turn on Drag Race and get me in the room.
Betty was like, that's cool, but I'm out, and left us alone to have our hands lay on the couch devilishly close to each other, but not touching. The news basically said this stupid fairy thing was birds, boo-hoo. But Noah was like, what if there was magic stuff? So like, I don't know, cute that he still has childhood whimsy or whatever. Third, Ling and Randy were eating at the tavern and trying to conserve money when
Oh no.
Bree just happened to swing by to say hey. She dropped a little, by the way, let me know about the offer, which Ling hadn't told Randy about. And then when he heard about the offer, he was like, I mean, we would be able to get dessert if we wanted. But Ling actually owned the house, so it was her decision, and we left it there. The fourth and final scene was a cute little scene with Aaliyah. We talked about her name a little bit, and then she pulled me aside to update me on astronaut news because she has the interview planned, but she still hasn't told her family. But oh no, Betty walked down the stairs and was hidden behind a statue.
This statue is so poorly placed.
And so she overheard everything and gave a concerned look. Oh, drama. You love to see it. With all of our scenes out of the way, I just kind of like walked around and said hi to some people and then headed home for day 5. I started off focusing on farm stuff and feeling antisocial from all of my cutscenes yesterday, but that didn't stop me from going into town and giving the B-boys my watering can to get upgraded. After that, I went to the mine because I only had 10 more floors to go until I finished the wind shaft. I made some good progress, and at a certain point, I just kind of started ignoring all of the monsters and ran away from them because honestly, they're not even that fast. And even if I do get hit, they're all really weak. So it's not like I'm actually worried about my health, you know? But yeah, so what do you know? I made it to floor 40. Let's go. So yada yada, the fire shaft opened up, and then I touched the little stone and broke the curse and went upstairs and met the new giant, Gru. They're a little cutie patootie, of course, and we're flying around and stuff. But the chieftain continued to be cryptic about the fire giant. I went over to the fire shaft entrance, but then I was stopped by the chieftain who was worried about my safety because fire was dangerous. But the wind giant was like, no, it isn't, it cooks stuff. And then the other two giants showed up and we had a symposium on whether fire was inherently bad or not. And I was like, you know, I feel like we're really applying a moralistic view to something that just kind of is, you know? Anyways, after that scene, curiosity got the best of me, and I entered the fire shaft to check it out. It was all smoky and stuff, and had red goos and osmium ore. Ooh. I made it down to floor 5 with not a second to spare, as it was basically 1 a.m. I booked it home and just made it to bed in time to sail into day 6. After doing my animal things, I went into town to visit the B-boys and open geodes, and I ran into a cutscene with Raphael. He basically was just kind of like, oh my gosh, you're so nice. You know, like, thank you for always checking in on me. I love you. What? Who said that? Oh my god. It was cute. I also noticed that I now have a blue heart with him, and I don't know what that can mean, but oh. I opened my geodes and then went around looking for that goddamn rose hip.
Where the hell is this rose hip thing? Hell yeah, I just had to say that. That's all I had to do.
And rose hip acquired, I offered that to the goddess and then went into town and ran into another cutscene of Erica and Frank. Erica offered to pick up a wine delivery from Breeze since Frank was just so busy. So she went off and, that was that. But did she go off? Because I went to donate and I saw her doing yoga. Huh, but also, why is everyone doing yoga outside? And oh my god, Leah, please put on clothes, you're gonna get frostbite, my god. After donating to the museum, I went to the vineyard and ran into part 2 of the Erica scene where I caught Erica snooping and called her out. Then she got all flustered, but then Bree came out and was like, oh wow, I can't believe Luke didn't bring those to the tavern with you. Here, let me help. We can catch up. And then they just kind of like talk. Okay, kind of a strange scene, but like whatever. With all my socializing done, I decided to be antisocial and go diving. I went underwater and was able to activate one of the super corals, but then while looking for the next area to clean up, I kind of got lost. Eventually I found my way and managed to get another super coral right at 1 a.m. I rush home and got into bed before the cutoff. I am really being lucky with getting to bed on time, so love that for me. On day 7, I was pretty unproductive in the morning, if I'm being honest. I took care of my animals and then went to the B-boys to get some coffers open, but it's Sunday and they're closed, so then I just went diving. Underwater, with my bearings all got, I started clearing trash, quickly finding myself a solar orb to activate a super coral and then move on. I cleared even more trash, activating another super coral, and I freed this ugly-ass anglerfish named Aang. As the day was wearing on, I started using some vortexinators to help me move everything along and found another solar orb that activated a third super coral, giving me access to one more area. I pushed to find the next solar orb because I was pretty sure this was the last super coral of the 40-meter zone. I found the orb, but it was really getting late, but I decided to risk it and I activated the super coral literally at 120. I saw this really strange scene of a water dragon getting freed somewhere, but I don't have time to think about that, so I ran home and made it inside my house, but I passed out on my way to the bed. But luckily, listen, I'll be inside my house. That should still count, right? Right? Well, on day 8, I woke up
Not me waking up at my door. What?
to a letter from Alice saying that she just found me somewhere.
You found me in my own house, Alice?
And so I got charged. That's some bullshit, honestly. Coraline, what are you doing? What's going on? Yeah, you want to talk about it? Significantly irritated, I went to the B-boys to open a bunch of coffers and pick up my gold watering can. I went home and tried it out, and it now waters 5x3 horizontally. A very interesting range, but honestly, I think it's going to be way more helpful at watering the 5x5 beds for the bigger sprinklers, so work. In animal news, Sylvia finally gave me a large goat milk, so I offered that to the goddess, and then, what do you know? I went diving. I was now in the 50-meter zone, and ooh, it's all pretty and deep. I found some osmium kelp, fancy, and activated a super coral just casually, But really, I was here looking for a king scallop, because that was the last thing I needed for the goddess's ocean scavengables offering, and let's go, we found it. Ayo. While looking, I also caught a new critter, a blood-bellied jellyfish that...
Damn, that blood belly comb, that looks like a ball sack.
But I could not for the life of me find the next solar orb, so I had to tap out. Before bed, though, I did go to the goddess and complete that offering, netting myself another dehydrator, which, like, yay, but haven't really found myself needing to, but whatever. Anyways, I ran home and went to bed because Lord knows I don't want to get charged for passing out in my own private home. Day 9 was a pretty chill day, all in all. I took care of animals and then went around and did some foraging on my way to the B-Boys to open some coffers. I was able to open them even though neither Pablo nor Raphael was there, which then raises the question, like, do we just, like, grab the hammer and open them ourselves when they're not here, or... Anyways, after that I went down to the beach and did a little fishing on the pier. I didn't catch anything of note, but I did catch some hot goths from Aaliyah over on the beach.
Wait, Aaliyah just said that the volleyball court has been here since she was little, but Nina said the volleyball court was new and thought it was pufferfish. What is the truth?
With my mind successfully expanded, I ran to give Raj a little gift, which went well, and I figured I'd give a gift to Aaliyah next, which didn't go so well. But nice touch that she'd had a unique piece of dialogue for this one singular gift, you know? At this point, though, I was sick of getting normal quality animal products, so I looked into getting upgrades to my feed from Ling's lab. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough bronze kelp extract, so I threw some bronze kelp into the extractor to get the bronze kelp extract extracted, and after that, I just, kind of went fishing. I was trying to catch the fish that I needed for the goddess offerings, but I mostly caught lobster. You could say that that was the main thing that I caught. Get it? Because Maine, the state, they like lobsters there. Day 10 was another relatively chill day. Started off by, of course, animal, but then I went to the lab and gave the extract that was needed for the upgraded animal feed. So in 2 days, I'll have an increased chance of getting higher quality animal products. You'll love to see it. After that, I went on a little gifting spree, kissing up to Kenny, Surya, Dinda, Joko. Hell, I even gave young Theo a gift. Then I guess the lab vibes were rubbing off on me because I did research into where I was really supposed to be looking for the fish that I was looking for yesterday. This research led me to the river to the left of my farm, which I didn't even realize you could fish in, but lo and behold, I caught a bunch of new fish, like a polka dot fish, a mackerel, even a sea cucumber. But not the fish I needed. Ooh. So I traveled into town, clocking that I had unlocked the fast travel point by Nina's mansion. Nice. I fished on the dock next to Zara's boat and caught myself, finally, one of the fish that I needed. A pink snapper. Let's friggin' go. I went and offered that to the goddess lady, and then it was time for day 11, which started, as usual, with some animal taking care of. After that, I went to the mine of all places to catch myself a silver arowana, which I promptly caught, and then caught another one so that I could donate it and offer it. I went into town after that to fish by Zara's looking for another required fish, but I only caught a pufferfish. God, pufferfish ruin everything in this game, am I right? I went and offered my silver arowana to the goddess, and then donated my silver arowana and pufferfish to the museum, then suited up to go diving. Underwater, I pretty quickly found a solar orb activating a super coral. The next area, though, was winding and confusing, but I managed to find a solar orb eventually and activated another super coral. I found that the 50-meter ocean is super winding and confusing, but I also have the gift of future knowledge knowing that it only gets worse. I left the ocean and went home, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I low-key miss cutscenes. Would I witness any on day 12, though? Only one way to find out. I woke up to a letter from Millie asking for legendary kelp essence. But like, what the hell is that? No matter. I had tea leaves to harvest. Let's go. I went and opened coffers, then went to offer my tea leaves, and when I ran into a cutscene, let's go, finally. This was a short one with Kenny, where I saw him, again, doing yoga in odd places around town. And then, after that, we went to the forest temple and laid the flute down and left it to let the magic happen. So, nice. We did the scroll thing. Let's go. After that, I went and offered my tea leaves, and then I googled what legendary kelp was, and it's basically just osmium kelp, but I don't know why she's calling it that. So whatever. I went to visit her and Suki at the hot springs. Again, love that people are hanging out there, but couldn't give it to her while she was there. Gross. So I just went diving, but not where you'd think. I went back to the 20-meter zone because I wanted to get silver kelp. You see, this morning while taking care of the animals, I noticed that my feed had increased to bronze quality, and I was like, okay, Well, I want to upgrade more. But obviously, I would need silver kelp essence for that. And I did not have enough silver kelp, so 20 meters. Once I'd harvested enough silver kelp, I resurfaced and looked around Millie and Yuri's house for an atlas moth. Again, one of the insects that I needed for the goddess. I wasn't having any luck, but I did take this opportunity to give Millie her kelp essence, finally. I went to the deep woods to look and found the moth right off the bat. Love when things just work. Satisfied with my catch, I went home and headed to bed. So now for day 13, aka day 97 of our year. Only 4 days to go, including today, so exciting. And this day was indeed a biggin. I woke up and saw that my snowdrops were ready to be harvested. Great. The last thing that I needed for the winter bundle. And I also harvested an osmium quality snowdrop, which I needed for a different bundle. And then I went to take care of my animals, and I got...
Yes! Silver large milk!
With all of this, I booked it to the goddess's house to complete the barn animal bundle, getting another cheese press for myself, and completing the winter bundle and the first altar. This triggered a cutscene with the goddess of flowers herself, who basically was like, yeah, thank you for restoring my powers. Here's a stamina fruit. Okay, ta-ta, goodbye. On a different exciting note, completing this altar meant that I'd have a new greenhouse tomorrow, and also meant that I was only 50 points away from reaching Town Rank C. Let's friggin' go. It also seemingly healed the town tree and unlocked the hot spring fast travel location. To start working towards that town rank upgrade though, I went underwater and super quickly activated a super coral. I wanted to run to the tavern though to give some gifts to people, so I actually dipped pretty early from underwater and then was a little Santa Claus at the tavern. Then I realized that I had unblocked the path to the bamboo grove, so I went there and just kind of walked around. I caught a new bug and picked up a new forageable, and that was it. There was nothing really to do. I donated some new critters to the museum, and that was it, meaning it's time for day 14. I ranched it up in the morning and then...
Oh shit. Hi. How did I not notice that before?
Went and checked out the new greenhouse. It definitely was an extra place to plant things, but I appreciated that the outside looked like a fairy castle, I guess. I went into town and got some fossils lasered, then went up to the bamboo grove to see if I could find a panda during the daytime, but no dice. But I will say I saw a suspiciously empty part of the grove and some
Cactus?
which I think is the savanna in the distance that's supposed to be coming in the next update, supposedly. After this, I headed underwater, but quickly got lost. Every time I tried to go towards what I thought were the next solar orb areas, I got stopped by these black tendril things. But finally, I got to the next area, and after some cleaning, like a lot of cleaning, I found the next solar orb. I activated the super coral and then went to the new area this unlocked, but could only drop my anchor to come back tomorrow because it was late. But with the donations that I made to the museum after that, I was so close to ranking up that I could almost taste it. So on day 15, I was of one mind. Ranking up. I started by doing my little ranching thing and then got my very first quail egg, let's go, which I obviously went to offer to ye old goddess. And then I stopped by the B-boys to crack open some coffers and give my hoe to get upgraded to the gold level. Then I got some fossils lasered and got a bunch of stuff to donate to the museum, which is very good for ranking up. Let's go. With that, I went back underwater and started working on getting more super corals and getting some cool stuff in this fossil land. It took me a while, but I found a solar orb and activated that little super coral, getting myself a gift from a very angry looking shrimp. This unlocked a new area leading to a sick looking building that I guess was this area's like temple or whatever. I got distracted trying to navigate the temple, which again was just silly because you literally are just breaking trash waiting for one of the exits to open. Like, why would this be fun? What is the point of this? But listen, I say this and yet I kept going and only quit at 1 a.m. So I don't know, maybe it was fun. I ran home and made it to bed in time to...
Yes!
Let's fucking go.
I got new seeds, new decor, new clothing, new ling R&D, and fruit trees. All great things to check out on day 16, aka day 100. After doing my little ranch stuff, I went up to the ranch to check out the new animals for sale, and as much fun as a pig and peafowl looked, they were like so friggin' expensive, so I just had to hold off. But also, I'm curious, what are all of these other spots here for? How many more animals are we going to get? I went into town to get my coffers and fossils processed, and everyone was talking about the new town rank. Listen, Judge Ross ain't fucking around with getting that paperwork in, okay? I checked out all of the new R&D stuff available. There was a super scarecrow that had a massive effect effect radius, an auto chest that could be turned into a full assembly line, and even auto trash, which just cleaned up the ocean floor. But like, listen, this stuff is also expensive. Like, I guess I'm happy to have things to work towards, but like, oh my god. Next step on my rank up tour was Sam's to check out new seeds. Yes, winter crops were there, and I definitely bought some cotton, which is a new seed for me, but more importantly, a bunch of new seedlings and saplings unlocked. So I went a little wild and bought all of the spring and winter saplings, and then also all of the spring and winter seedlings, including a lemon tree that was only fall to winter, so it was just gonna barely give me a harvest before the season was done, and it died. After that, it was over to the clothing store to see what new fashions we got going for us. It was cute, but I also only had like 900 gold after buying all those plants, so I was basically window shopping. The last stop on my rank up tour was the furniture store, where there was some spooky furniture, and just generally more cute but expensive indoor furniture. Decorating, I think, is going to be a fun late game activity for me because I am not spending money on that shit now. I'm sorry. With the tour at an end, I headed home and tried to figure out where to put this lemon seedling, and then I just kind of, dicked around. I gave Surya a gift in hopes of reaching level 8 and being able to ask him to be my boyfriend, but no such luck. And then I ran around a bunch, drank some wine to see what would happen.
No, nothing happens.
And then I went fishing a little bit, and then I saw a ghost that gave me a pear.
Excuse me?
And then I went to sleep. So that was it for my 100 days, I guess. Don't look at the time bar. That's it. Here's the thing. There's only like 12 more days left in the season, and I honestly feel like there's still a fair amount of stuff that I wanted to do. I mean, the Winter Festival was just about to start. There was relationships to build, hot singles to romance. So what if we just went until the end of the year? Maybe? Day 17 of winter and day 101 of the year started, as usual, with animal things. I went into town to kill some time before the blacksmith opened and everyone was chit-chatting about the new town ranks still, so I was like, oh, let me go check out my merit points. As a reminder, these are points that you get from festivals, from town ranking up, and just from doing errands, all kinds of stuff. I had over 2,000 merit points stashed away, so I decided, fuck it, and I got a new stamina fruit. Let's go. On the way out, I ran into a cutscene with Mark and his new rescue puppy. The puppy was progressing nicely, so Mark wanted to give it his patent blend of organic meat and rice. The puppy, however, was not into it, so Mark tried to reason.
I love that in this universe, you can reason with dogs.
And the dog relented and ate the food and then promptly vomited it up. We transitioned to Kenny's house, not the doctor's, but Kenny's, where Mark paced back and forth before Kenny came and told him that the puppy had an allergic reaction to something in the food. The puppy would be fine, but poor Mark started crying. I mean, maybe he should have listened to the dog, but sad. Then we transitioned to another cutscene with Millie getting a book shipment, and I help her put them away in the Coral Island dev's favorite storytelling mechanic, a montage where the camera stays in the same place but the characters pop around doing little activities. Free from all those cutscenes, I went to the B-Boys and got myself a hoe. Exciting times. And then I returned to my farm to try to figure out how to lay things out for my new trees. I made new plots for the seedlings and then annoyingly left one of them in the middle empty, and then surveyed my options for an orchard and decided to put it in the upper left-hand corner because I didn't really know what the plans were for the rest of the farm, so, this seemed like a good out-of-the-way place. With that settled, I decided to head into the mines because why not? After I forgot my hammer and had to head back, I made pretty good progress and ran into a new enemy, Crystal Head Skullface Orb Man. However, I started to run into some resistance on floor 9 and it was getting late, so I was like, I do have 2,000 stone, so might as well. And I made a rope, using stone, naturally, to skip to the next floor. After that, I headed home, and then I was like, oh, right, the Winter Festival started today. But I guess that's just gonna be a quest for day 18, which came in with a bang, because I got my seasonal meteor visit. Seriously, what is going on with the meteors, okay? I started my day rearranging my sprinklers to get more coverage for my seedlings, and then took care of my animals a little bit before heading into town. After taking care of some geodes, I ran into Mark and asked about his scar, and Mark called me out for being flirty. Oh my god.
Scars are sexy. That's why I have one.
I, for one, am blushing. I wanted to get a silo for my hay from Joko and Dinda, but unfortunately I needed to wait for resin, so I ran around my farm looking for the meteor, because Why not, right? Well, it turns out it wasn't a meteor, but a satellite that crashed onto my farm, which is still worrisome, but this gave me a bunch of batteries and scrap, so that's cool. I ran around the town a little, chit-chatting with people, and then cutscene with Walter and Bree having a nice moment together, shooting the shit, until it was revealed that Walter, while cleaning out the attic, threw away Bree's private modeling photos and left them at the recycling center for anyone to see. I'm pretty sure that private modeling photos means like artsy nudes, so, fuck. Naturally, she went to go find them, and Walter didn't even try to go and help her because he's trash, okay? Speaking of trash, this dialogue from Raj may have just murdered me.
Oh snap, White Flamingo's clothing game just got an upgrade. This is exactly what I'd call treat yourself material. Oh no.
Hate that. But cringe writing aside, it is now time for the Winter Festival. It was down on the beach naturally, and had a bunch of mini games and some stalls set up. I went around the shops to see what was for sale and ended up buying a couple gems because they were needed for the museum. Then I went and checked out the games. I started with a match pattern game where I fought against my old nemesis, Bobby. Basically, they showed you a pattern and you recreated it with your hoe, but I was pretty cracked at it, not gonna lie, and Bobby just couldn't keep up. I beat him in every single round, which got me a cocoa tree. Great, since it'll be out of season in 10 days.
Hell yeah, finally beat him at something.
Next, I tried my hand at magnet fishing, where there were 3 concentric circles of fish rotating, and you had to lower your lure at the right time to get fish worth a certain amount of points. My first round I did okay, but fell just short of beating friggin' Archie, but on the second try, I aced it and won. I moved on to the shooting minigame, but not gonna lie, this one was difficult. It took my character forever to shuffle side to side, and I just struggled with the aim a little bit. I got last place and decided to try again later because this festival does run for like 5 days anyways, right? I went over to the trivia center last, where Jeff Smith was quizzing us on a variety of topics. I took on farming trivia and was able to identify almost everything, even though the shading on the 3D objects was like super glitched. So after winning my prize from that, it was pretty late, so I just donated a couple gems to the museum, put some trash into scrap and compost machines, and then went to bed. Day 19 started with a visit from good old Nina, who came by to check out the old farm and see what I did with the place, and also to ask about my grandma, which was nice, but then I asked her how she knew my family, and she avoided the question.
Okay, wait, maybe Nina is a sleeper agent.
She thanked me for moving back to Starlet Town and then dipped. Okay, kind of weird, but like, okay. On my farm, I had some resin ready, nice, so now I could make myself a silo. So after I dealt with my animals, I headed over to Joko and Dinda, but unfortunately, I forgot to clear some fence away, so I went to run home and cutscene. Surya tried once again to propose a different place that he could live. This time, it was a camper van next to Ben, and as he explained it, it just seemed a little wild to me.
Okay, this is a little ridiculous. Just get that apartment.
So yeah, he's gonna keep looking. I cleared the fences on my farm and then finally got my silo under construction. Yay. From there, it was time to go underwater. I was dropped in front of that strange temple and then went up the stairs to the left to try and find where to start cleaning next. It was very unclear, honestly, so after looking around, like around, I just headed back to the surface so that I could head to day 2 for me and day 3 for everyone else of the festival. Except first, I went to the museum where I got a reward for completing the Earth Shaft donations. Cute. I guess the gems I gave yesterday that finished it up. And then I gave my 200th donation to the museum, netting me another stamina fruit. I mean, damn, my stamina is sky high right now, okay? Then it was festival time. And first off, it was Lily's birthday. So I went to give her an eggplant and it went, not great. So I tried again with a tea berry and she also hated that. So good job, EJ. Anyways, it was actually pretty late in the festival. So I just did the forageable trivia and lost to Connor. So I did it again and this time I won, okay? So I went home to defend my property.
What the fuck? Get off my farm, you child. Ugh.
And then headed to day 20, which was, by all accounts, perfectly average. I took care of the farm stuff and animal and ranching stuff, and was possessed by a strange urge to eradicate my farm of little shrubs and grasses. Then I went out into town to give some gifts. I was getting close to 8 hearts with Surya, Kenny, and Raphael, and at this point I had a pipe dream of reaching 8 hearts with Raj as well, so obviously my gifting was influenced by that, and also just by my innate urge to view cutscenes and acquire lore knowledge. I went underwater after all this gifting and was met with black tendrils that quickly disappeared. Strange. I successfully found a solar orb up to the left of the temple and activated that, and then found another that went down to the area in front of the temple and healed that. So, yay. I left the ocean after that and headed to the Winter Festival because it was the last day for that, and I wanted to win all the games. I started with the artisanal trivia and fucking killed it, even though I hadn't seen most of the items towards the end. Then I went to Curly and just went for it and managed to get first place on my first try.
Kick that, Archie. Stupid kid.
After that, I went to my old nemesis, the shooting game, and on my first try of the day, also won first place. With that, I had successfully won and done the best at enjoying the festival, something that is both normal to want and possible to achieve. Day 21 was another perfectly average day, except today I finally had my silo. Let's go! I filled her up with the best hay a ranch animal could ask for, but I did have more hay than the silo could hold, so that's a little annoying, but maybe it's time for another silo. Who knows? I took care of my tasks and then went to the carpenters to check on the silo price again, and cutscene! Another pitch session from Old Surya to a very receptive audience.
He needs a tent. As long as he's away from us, he'll sleep in the rain. Isn't that right, Surya? Damn, they really are just not letting this up, huh?
This time, forget the camper van. He's gonna live at the lab.
So you live and work at the same place? Take it from me, not good.
Which they also warned him about.
Now, to be fair, their workshop right there.
So they actually quite reasonably were not supportive of this idea, and I gotta be honest, I agree. If anything, this storyline has highlighted the need for new housing in Starlet Town, considering there's 3 people and those 2 nameless baristas living permanently at the inn. But speaking of bad places to live, I went underwater. Once again, continuing my quest to finish cleaning the ocean before the end of the year. But unfortunately today, it did not go super well. I had a 3rd super coral left to activate, but I couldn't find the orb, so I moved on and activated a different super coral that, side note, took forever to activate, but I still couldn't find the 3rd solar orb. So I just continued with a new area until it was time to go home, put my ocean scavengeables to dry, and go to sleep. Day 22, an alliterative day, a multiple of 11. Wow. So for animal stuff, I moved my chest into the barn because with the lack of hay to pull from it, I was basically just holding the shears and milk pail in there. Then I harvested some more tea leaves and threw them into a keg to get some green tea. And then in town, I ran into Theo and gave him a little gift and was surprised to learn.
I'm at 5 hearts with Theo.
Mainly, it was just shocking because I feel like I haven't seen any cutscenes with him. But then what do you know? I went into the community center to check my merit points, and Theo cutscene. Theo was playing a guitar.
Just walks up and starts clapping. Okay.
And I was basically just like, oh my god, wow, you play the guitar so good. Can you teach me? Oh my god, ooh, you know? And that's what he did. He taught me with the 2nd guitar that he just happened to have on him in case of this very occasion. It was a cute scene, I guess. So anyways, I went back underwater and resumed looking for solar orbs. I pretty quickly found the next one for the area I was currently working on, and this super coral unlocked a new passageway that I followed and then quickly found another solar orb that went to, you guessed it, that 3rd friggin' super coral that I couldn't find the orb for. Now listen, why the devs put this solar orb behind a fence that you had to activate a different set of super corals to get to, beyond me. But at this point, the words super coral and solar orb are starting to lose meaning to me. So after I activated the thingamabob, I resurfaced, but after seeing that there were only 8 doohickeys left, so if I dooed 2 hickeys a day, I could finish it by day 27, let's go. On day 23, I had my end goal in sight, okay? I wanted at least 1 boyfriend, a cleaned up ocean, and as many cutscenes as possible. So I went to ye old fan-made spreadsheet and wrote down some scenes for myself. I'll link the spreadsheet down below because it's actually super helpful, and shout out to Discord user Glacial Phoenix for putting it all together. I did my little tasks in the morning and then got some forgeables for gift giving and then gave some gifts. During this, I became fed up with my 20 inventory spaces and finally went to Sam's to upgrade my backpack. I had been putting it off because I knew it was going to break the bank and I had other stuff to spend on, so I braced myself and
3,500, that's it?
so yeah, I actually got 2 upgrades, fully doubling my inventory space. On my way to Socket and Pan to give Kenny a gift, I got given a cutscene with Walter being the friggin' worst once again in criticizing the signage in his son's store. Luke seemed to be at his wit's end with it.
Yeah, just shout that across the store at me.
So that's awkward. Free from the scene, I gave Kenny a gift, and then my Steam achievement spoiled the fact that I reached 8 hearts with Kenny. Let's go. To celebrate, I ran away from the Earth and went to the sea, where I quickly found a solar orb and activated a super coral. Unfortunately, I had a date with a cutscene, so I had to dip before I could get a second super coral, so we're doing great on our goals of doing 2 a day. Haha. At the Coral Inn,
She's gaming.
Macy was loudly gaming, disturbing her neighbors who probably wouldn't have been so affected if they didn't just have curtains for doors. They went and stopped her from playing
Call of Booty.
and asked Macy to keep down the volume late at night. Macy was actually very receptive to it, unlike some roommates that I've had. And all was right in the world. Right after that, I saw another cutscene with Ava, who got on Game of Cones.
I love Game of Cones.
She was so excited and started immediately brainstorming ideas of what to cook. Cute! I am very excited for this storyline. After that, I ran up to the town hall for some reason. And what do you know? Another cutscene with Raj. I came along with them to support.
Oh, the Business Bureau or whatever. Thanks for coming with me to my first Chamber of Commerce meeting. Chamber of Commerce, that's what I said.
Love an explicit reason why I'm in a scene. And they went up to get some ideas for how to build their business. The other business owners shouted out things like taking out loans, mixing up the menu with lobster tails, only as an example, of course, and giving out free samples. After all of this, Raj was motivated.
Oh, they're so cute and happy.
And after my impromptu town hall visit, I went around town looking for a stupid night beetle that I needed for the bundles, but I still couldn't find it. Kill me. But on the bright side, overnight, I learned how to make a loom. Finally, something to use my dumb wool for. Making a loom was one of the first things I did on day 24 after I harvested some tea leaves to complete an errand for Ava that I took yesterday. I also woke up to a letter from Raja's Coffee advertising their new dragon coffee. Ooh, and another letter from the blacksmith telling me about the locket that I can buy from them to start dating a villager. Ooh! I set some wool to looming and went into town to find Ava and complete her little errand, then ran up to the B-Boys and bought myself a locket. From there, I went around chit-chatting and found myself at Raj's coffee stand for a cutscene with a long-ass line. Everyone was there to try Raj's new dragon coffee, though not everyone was super supportive.
Better be worth it. Emily, shut the fuck up.
I get very defensive of people I like, okay? Everyone, including me, was curious about what exactly dragon coffee was. Waku said that it was
From Savannah area, picked by special cows.
and apparently it was delicious and
Goes great with muffin.
but then the dragon coffee was super expensive. And Raj was like, it's worth it because the cows eat the coffee beans and their stomach acid does something to it.
It's poop coffee. Raj.
But it wasn't poop, just spit. But everyone was being fucking babies about it and ran away, except Waku, because he has taste. Honestly, these are the same people who freak out about moldy cheese and anchovies being in Caesar salad dressing, and I can't. Poor Raj, honestly. After this scene, I went to the community center and saw another cutscene that was not at the community center. It was outside, but it was with Theo, and he said hi to Ben.
And then they furiously make out.
And then it was springtime, and he said hi to Bree. And then he walked by the community center and oh no! He ran inside the community center, frantically looking around. Millie was like, what's good? And Theo was like, where's the piano? And she was like, oh, that piece of junk? We shipped it off to the recycling center. And makes sense. But Theo was all worried for some...
It was my...
Oh, oops, awkward. I ran to find Kenny, but instead found part 2 of the cutscene. Theo ran into the recycling center and saw Betty and Erica just hanging out. After Theo finally spit out what he was looking for, they were like, well, I don't see it. Let's look.
It's a piano. What do you mean you can't find a piano?
But somehow Betty just found a piano, and then it was just in the middle of the dump looking like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. And then Theo was like, hey, y'all want to help me move it?
Yeah, Betty? You want Betty to move the piano?
And then they did. Wild. Just wild. Anyways, I continued on my Kenny hunt and found him
Hi, do you want to be lovers?
and gave him the locket to make things all a fish, and he said yes. Imagine if he said no, though, right? So now I officially have a
boyfriend.
I was getting a little hot, so to cool down, I went diving. At this point, I'm running out of ways to say that I just went diving, you know? Down there, I finally found the second solar orb from yesterday, activating that cute little super coral before finally unlocking the entrance to the next little area. I was still pretty confused about where to go though, and only managed to get to the new area pretty late in the day. I luckily found a solar orb and was able to activate another super coral, but then I had to dip for the day so that I could go see another Waku cutscene. And I'm not gonna lie, this cutscene, kind of a downer. So consider this a content warning for issues like dementia and aging. You can skip forward to the timestamp on your screen if you don't want to see it. Remember the bathhouse keeper, Takeba, who isn't at any town events, but is nonetheless a character and lives in the town? He's outside, and he saw Mark and mistook him for his son, Taro, who is off at war. Mark is understandably confused about what's happening. Waku spots this and runs down to help calm down Takeba and bring him inside. It was like a really sad scene, and I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely tearing up watching it. But it did contain this really wacky moment where Waku like didn't know Mark's name for some reason. And of course then Mark is like, I'm nobody. I'm the wind. Like, shut up, you stoic bitch. So anyways, that was that. After this, I went home via the forest and then saw another little cutscene of the flute being filled with magic.
Wait, what?
So that's cool, but we'll get to that later. In the meantime, time for Day 25, which started off as usual with some animal business, but also some cotton harvest. I collected my wool cloth from the loom and put the cotton on there to make some cloth. Very exciting. Fiber arts. We love it. From there, I went down to the pier for an early scene between Suki and Antonio. Basically, Antonio just like arrived off the dock and Suki was there to meet him. It's cute, but it's kind of lovely how these two separated but have a nice relationship with each other still. I figured that must be nice for Valentina, you know? I went from there up to the town to get some coffers opened, then went around town and ran into another Theo scene. He was outside cleaning off the piano, and I went and talked to him about it. It was kind of lovely how he was talking about his mother and stuff and her relationship to music, and yeah, lots of touching scenes recently, honestly. Of course, after that, my character was just like, okay, bye, and just walked off. So, you know, moment kind of ruined, right? On my way to the museum, I ran into another cutscene. Oh my god, I forgot to say that for the first 2 times. This one was with Raj again. This time, people were lining up to order new seasonal beverages. A great idea that unfortunately didn't seem to go well with Mark or Erica or Aaliyah. And then when I saw the special board, I kind of found out why.
Lobster tail latte, squid ink espresso, carp cappuccino, seafood. Ugh.
Honestly, I kind of thought that this might happen when I saw Raj repeating lobster tails at the Chamber of Commerce meeting, but like, come on, Raj. The secondhand embarrassment was real, so I kind of had to dip out of there and went to the museum to donate my new artifact, then headed home and up to the Forest Temple for another cutscene. This was luckily a short one with Kenny, where he found the magic flute and was like, huh, I guess it isn't magic. At least I got to spend time with EJ, which like, oh my god, that's cute. And then he played it, and I guess didn't see all the magic shit happening with it, but you know, we'll tell him later, I guess. After that, I was like, okay, time to dive, but not before. One more quick cutscene. I swear, this is the last one for today, okay? This one was between Suki and Alice, and basically Suki was like being all go-getter and being like, Alice, you need to be more engaging and stand out for guests. So I got us uniforms. Also, I ordered clean solution. Also, I booked us for a hotel management course. Also, I talked to Joko about the new tables, and Alice is like, hold on, wait up, okay? Hold on, wait a minute. And she's like, this is too much. You are doing too much. I do like the table idea. So like, we can do that, but that's it. I'm not doing all the rest of that shit. But then it just like ended with Suki joking around and they were all like laughing. So I guess like tension gone. Okay. Anyways, we're done with the cutscenes. Diving time now. Went underwater, couldn't find a solar orb, was like, fuck it, let's move on. Found a solar orb for a different super coral, activated that, then found another super coral, activated that one. And then it just was taking forever to trail around and it was getting late, but I just got it activated fully and then ran home, made it in bed before 2 a.m. Thank God. So, on day 26, there are a few more cutscenes, I'm gonna be honest with you, but they're fun, okay? So importantly, after I woke up, I checked and I realized that I had 8 hearts with both Surya and Raphael. Let's go. I took care of my animals and I tried to put more cotton to process, but that shit was taking forever. So I headed into my town to get fossils processed and ran into this cutscene.
I hate fish.
Okay. So yeah, I went to the lab and lasered my bone rocks and then went to the B-Boys for apparently a cutscene with Raphael. Apparently, the Tivandium worked and he was able to make the Iron Eye hammer. I honestly thought that he was getting scammed, but he wasn't totally not getting scammed, it turns out, because there's one thing.
Do you remember when I said the Iron Eye hammer talks to you? No.
So yeah, the hammer talks and it's...
The name's old Iron Eye, kid. Nice to meet ya. Come by to watch me forge? I love forging. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on?
It is annoying as hell, frankly. But now that it exists, it does raise some ethical questions.
Morally, would it be ethical to throw this into the ocean?
So, yeah, I guess that's that for that storyline now. I processed my coffers and then bought 2 little lockets and then went and gave one of those to Raphael in the most romantic place possible, a graveyard. And then I went a few feet and gave another locket to Surya, so hopefully Raphael didn't see or hear that.
All right, well, now I have 3 boyfriends, so that's fun.
Over at Joko and Dinda's, I saw another cutscene, but this time with Joko. He was making a bunch of chairs, but he was getting burnt out on the mass producing of boring old chairs and stuff, and he wanted to spend more time working on art and exciting stuff. Relatable. But what I was really here for was a Surya cutscene where he once again showed up to talk to his aunt and uncle about housing, but not before going on a surprisingly long detour to talk to them about always eating lunch when he wants to talk to them and then getting lunch himself.
This is so unserious.
Anyways, Surya finally spoke up about how he feels like he's been treated like a child, and he doesn't like that. And Joko actually understood it, to Dinda's disdain. Dindane? And he talked her into it, and they finally were like, yeah, you're right. We've been doing a little bit too much. And they came to a better understanding that didn't involve Surya moving out to one of the less ideal options, and instead he would just stay there and they would chill out a little bit. And then they all hugged. Oh, honestly, I just love this family so much. But now, it would be great if they could talk about redecorating.
Okay, we're gonna need to get a door for you here, Surya, though, because you and I, we're dating now, so we got some shit to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm exploring the ocean. You gotta explore my body. You know, it's like a whole thing.
Speaking of exploring,
Time for the ocean. I went underwater and quickly found a solar orb.
and slowly but surely, cleared the path for another super coral. And then I found another orb and worked on that one. Yay! Listen, I'm keeping up with my quota, so hopefully I will soon be able to finish cleaning the ocean. Just 3 more to go. I started using vortexinators to look for another solar orb, but called it and went home, making it to bed safely at 1:30. Day 27 brought with it a letter from Noah asking me to bring him some wood to help with Erica's project teaching children to burn things. Cute. I did my dailies, got my coffers processed, and then on my way back to the old farm, I ran into a cutscene.
A Charles scene? I don't want to see a Charles.
The children of the town were telling Charles that Millie loves fish, which now I'm realizing is why we saw the scene with the trash can. Okay, I get it. I was given a choice to save Charles or to let him sink. And because I wanted Millie to get with Scott, I kind of chose to sabotage, but it didn't even work. And the kids, I guess, told him, I don't know. So he decided not to get her the fish. Ugh. After that, I went into town hall because I figured there'd be a scene there, and what do you know? Joko was like, hey guys, why don't you partner with our furniture store? And then Suki was like, all right, host a furniture fair at our inn, you coward. And then later, Alice was like, okay, what the fuck was that, Suki? And Suki started to be like, well, you could have said something in a moment. And then Alice
going goblin mode, my god.
Alice laid into Suki about overstepping after not even being a part of the inn at the beginning and then swooping back in.
And let's face it, you and I both know Mom and Dad let you run it with me because they feel sorry for you.
And then Alice cried her little tears and ran away. And then Suki was like, ugh, that girl's crazy, am I right? And I was like, I don't know. Alice kind of had a point. And Suki had a moment of reflection. But honestly, I think some of the stuff Alice said was a little over the line. My God. Anyways, now, cutscene. Leah was running her yoga class. And then Ling came in to try to, connect with her stepdaughter. And then Leah was like, what the fuck are you doing here? It was honestly, it was kind of difficult to watch because Leah was trying to keep it together, but not doing a good job of it. And everyone was very aware that something was off. But then Ling was somehow completely unaware of it at the end. It was like, wow, you're such a good teacher. See you next week. Oh God, Leah, just let her in. Come on. So yeah, now that the scenes are done, you know what that means, okay? I started using some Vortexinator 3s to clear huge swaths of trash, and I found a solar orb, and then I kept clearing, activated that super coral, found another orb, another coral. We're getting there, okay? I went into a new area and kept going and kept using my Vortexinators, which got me another orb and another coral, and then another orb and another coral. Girl, I'm killing it. Super corals left and right, okay? And I'm pretty sure I finished the ocean. I think that was it, right? So just like that, it was day 28/day 112. And we are finally at the end of our playthrough once again. But not before we finish this goddamn day. So I woke up, got my first avocado, snake fruit, and lychee harvest, and then did my fossil analyzing thing, donated the fossils, and then was like, wait, why am I not done with the ocean? Where's my cutscene? So I dove underwater and saw that I had missed one super coral. So I went back to that area and looked around before finally finding the last solar orb and activating the final super coral. As soon as the cleaning rays shot out of it, it triggered a cutscene in Mermaid Land of the coral tree coming back to life and a big earthquake and everyone being like, oh shit, what's going on? And then everyone ran to the coral tree and was like, oh my god, wow, look, it's fixed. And the queen was like, we gotta go discuss a matter concerning EJ. And they swam off all mysterious like. But then I was like, okay, let me go to the palace. And nothing happened? Whatever. It was now time for the final festival of the year, the New Year's Festival, which took place on Bree and Walter's property, which they apparently killed all of their grapes for so they could put this like table here. Cool. There weren't that many activities to do with this one though. There was a spin the wheel activity where I kept getting the worst prizes, and then this balloon hitting game where you're trying to hit balloons to keep them up and outlast the other player. But if a balloon hits the ground, you lose a life, and if you lose all three, you lose. It was a tournament style game and I won the first round, but then I lost the second and I was like, oh, whatever, fuck it. So I just went around talking to people, including 2 of my 3 boyfriends who were sitting together.
Oh, this is so awkward. Please don't talk about your love lives.
But after that, it was time to start the fireworks show and send ourselves into the new year together. Ah, how peaceful. After that, I was back at my farm and that was it. I put away my goods and reflected on my past year of Coral Island. Looking back, I think it was a pretty good year. It definitely was not without its faults, though. I'm gonna take off my coat, though, because I'm literally overheating right now. So listen, I came into this expecting a game that was finished, full of content, maybe like a few bumps along the road or bugs or whatever, because those come with most games. Unfortunately, the game isn't done. It's just not. And they were not upfront about that. And that definitely soured my relationship with the game because it just fell short of my expectations of what a 1.0 release looks like. In my mind, that should be a game that isn't missing content, that doesn't have content that feels rushed, and is largely free of game crashing bugs. Now, to be fair, since I started recording this video and now the devs have released a roadmap for 2024 and plans for a 1.1 update, and all of it sounds great and good. And to be honest, I'm excited to play and experience the added content and fixes. I just wish that all of that had been there from the beginning, you know? But it would also be incorrect of me to say that I didn't still enjoy my time with Coral Island, because at its core, it is still a solid farm sim with an abundance of engaging characters and storylines, even if some character stories are a little strange, and the game 100% scratched that optimizing itch and introduced enough to distinguish it from the flagships of the genre. I do still wish it had done a little bit more from like a game mechanic standpoint to set itself apart, but I am still happy with what we have. So that's kind of that. As of March 2024, that's Coral Island. So what do y'all think? Like, have you played? Are you living? Are you dead? Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm very curious to hear what other people's experience of this game are. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, stay cute, stay hydrated, stay you, and stay romancing 3 boyfriends at once. It's kind of fun. Bye.